was the golden lampstand to be made? This is the question we seek to answer today as we continue our verse-by-verse study of the book of Exodus on Walking Through the Bible.
Of his word, the glory of his cross.
If you have a Bible with you, you can turn to Exodus 25. We're going to be reading from verses 31 to 40. If you don't have a Bible, don't worry. Just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So, Exodus 25, beginning at verse 31. You shall also make a lampstand of pure gold. The lampstand shall be of hammered work. Its shaft, its branches, its bowls, its ornamental knobs, and flowers shall be of one piece. And 6 branches shall come out of its sides, 3 branches of the lampstand out of one side, and 3 branches of the lampstand out of the other side. 3 bowls shall be made like almond blossoms on one branch, with an ornamental knob and a flower, and 3 bowls made like almond blossoms on the other branch, with an ornamental knob and a flower. And so for the 6 branches that come out of the lampstand. On the lampstand itself 4 bowls shall be made like almond blossoms, each with its ornamental knob and flower. And there shall be a knob under the first 2 branches of the same, a knob under the second 2 branches of the same, and a knob under the third 2 branches of the same, according to the 6 branches that extend from the lampstand. Their knobs and their branches shall be of one piece. All of it shall be one hammered piece of pure gold. You shall make 7 lamps for it, and they shall arrange its lamps so that they give light in front of it. And its wick trimmers and their trays shall be of pure gold. It shall be made of a talent of pure gold with all these utensils. And see to it that you make them according to the pattern which was shown to you on the mountain. Beginning in this chapter, God is giving Moses instructions on how to build the sanctuary. We have already discussed the making of the Ark of the Covenant and the table for the showbread. For a more detailed discussion of the Ark of the Covenant, we refer you to lessons 94 through 96 of this series, which can be found on our YouTube channel, shown at the bottom of the screen, under the Walking Through the Bible Exodus playlist. In this episode, we get very detailed instructions for how the golden lampstand was to be made. As we're seeing here, God isn't giving Moses much choice into how to make these items. In fact, verse 40 seems to imply that Moses is being shown what these items look like, as well as receiving instructions on how to build them. In terms of authority, God is using specific authority in how to build these items. Had God said, make a lampstand of pure gold, Moses would be able to determine the height of the lampstand, what shape it would take, so long as it was a lampstand and it was made of pure gold. But God didn't do that. He gave specific instructions. When it comes to our worship today, sometimes God has told us what he wants and gives us no choice. Ephesians 5:19 tells us to sing, making melody in our hearts. Because the melody or the singing is to come from our hearts, it is not to come from mechanical instruments of music, which is why we teach against such today. Some say that God doesn't care, or because God didn't ban it, that therefore it's okay. When it comes to authority, is that how it works in other areas of our lives? If I give a child my money and tell them to go to the store and buy a loaf of bread, and they come home with a loaf of bread and a candy bar, have they followed my instructions? No, they added to my instructions. But I didn't say that they couldn't buy a candy bar. Yes, but I didn't have to because I told them to buy a loaf of bread with my money. If the child had their own money, they can do with it what they wish, but they can't do so with other people's money. So it is with worship. Worship is to be done towards God. Yes, we are edified by it, but the object of our worship is God, not ourselves. Therefore, we must worship the way God designed, not the way we designed. No instruments of music are mentioned, so we shouldn't use instrumental music. Coming back to this lampstand, we find that it was to be made of hammered work, meaning that it wasn't to be cast, but made by hand. Its shaft, its branches, its bowls, its ornamental knobs and flowers were to be of one piece. 6 branches were to come out of its sides, with 3 branches out of one side and 3 branches out of the other side. What did this look like? Think of the menorah, and you'll see what these branches of the lampstand look like. 3 bowls were to be made like almond blossoms on one branch, with an ornamental knob and a flower, and 3 bowls made like almond blossoms on the other branch, with an ornamental knob and a flower, and so for the 6 branches that came out of the lampstand. On the lampstand itself, 4 bowls were to be made like almond blossoms, each with its ornamental knob and flower. There was to be a knob under the first 2 branches of the same, a knob under the second 2 branches of the same, and a knob under the third 2 branches of the same, according to the 6 branches that extend from the lampstand. Their knobs and their branches were to be of one piece. All of it was to be one hammered piece of pure gold. They were to make 7 lamps for it and arrange the lamps so that they would give light in front of it, because there weren't going to be any windows in the tabernacle. What would this candlestick or a lampstand have looked like? It could have looked something like this, although we're not entirely sure because the lampstand doesn't exist today. There were very specific instructions which needed to be followed according to the pattern shown to Moses if they were to be pleasing to God. God even gave instructions for the wick trimmers, a tool used to pinch off charred portions of the wick. So saying God really doesn't care about our worship is simply not the case. How much gold was to be used in the making of this lampstand? A talent of gold. A talent differed depending on the culture. A talent here is about 34 kilograms or 75 pounds. At the 2019 price of gold, if you were to make this lampstand today, it would cost 1.68 million American dollars. While we might think of this as expensive, when divided over the population of Israel, it was not that much. With that, our time is up for today. Lord willing, we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's discussion of Exodus 26, verses 1 to 6, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time.
I'm not ashamed.
Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope that you found it edifying and ask that you not only subscribe to our channel and podcast, but that you like and share this episode among your friends, so that the saving gospel of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.
Of his cross.